Hi, my name's Richard and today we're going to play a few rounds of Amass by Dark Frontier Games. We are going to play a solo game, so I'm going to be controlling Echo here and we're going to be playing against two AI players. We've got Tango here and we've got Alpha here. We've got the board set up, we've got our resource cards here, we've got our action cards here, we've got our AI cards here, our dice, we have the Alien Raiders, they start on the Alien Raider camp, and we have our resource pile here. Now, when playing solo, you don't need to use your crew sheet. Now, normally when you're playing a multiplayer game with two or more players, you would hide your card, your crew sheet behind your player screen, and you would, in the planning phase, you would plan where you're going to send your guys, whether you're going to attack someone's base from a direction, or whether you're going to defend your base, or whether you're going to attack the alien camp. You would plan your actions in secret, and then in the deploy phase, everyone would remove their screens and you would place your crew onto the planet map. But obviously in solo play, I don't actually need to do that because I'm playing against AI, so I don't need to hide my actions. I will obviously try and explain some of the rules. I will explain how the AI deck works, and we'll cover a few of the cards and other actions. Okay, so when I'm playing solo, I start with, got 8 crew here. The number of crew you start with depends on how many players you've got in the game. So the first action is to distribute resources. So in a multiplayer game, we would draw 2 resource cards, flip them over, and the first player that turn would choose one of them to play. But in solo play, you just simply turn over the top card. Now the card will tell you how many spaces to move the alien raiders. Then you distribute the resources as shown at the locations on the card. When you see this plus symbol, that means you place those extra resources in 5 or 6 player games. So we won't be using them today. Let's talk about the alien raiders. So alien raiders move clockwise around the map. There's 8 zones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zones. They start in this zone, and each round they will be moved by the first player. They can also be moved by action cards in the game. So here they're going to move 2 zones, 1, 2. This is the first action. So alien raiders halt all mining operations and they halt any raids that are taking place. If the alien raider, for example, was at this zone and we had resources here, resources in a player's base, no crew would be allowed to be deployed in this zone to attack, to mine or to raid another player encampment because the alien raiders are there. Alien raiders also strip resources at mines from zones that they pass through. Obviously on the first round, there's no resources for them to steal. Also, when they end their movement in a zone, they strip 1 resource from the outside edge of the crew encampment. So in this example, they would steal one of these resources. If there was these 2 resources, they would obviously strip the highest value resource. This is worth 4, this is worth 1. So we've made the raiders 2 zones, 1, 2 zones. That means this round nobody can be deployed in this zone, but resources can still appear there. So now we distribute the resources as shown on the card. So U8, we have 2, we have 1 at Q6, we've got 3 at H4, we've got 1 at M5 down here, and we've got 1 pink at G3. So that's the resources distributed. Now would come the planning phase. So as I said, in a multiplayer game, this is where you would now, behind your player screen, you would choose to plan your actions where you want to attack. And when you're planning your actions, you can deploy up to 3 people to any location. You can put 3 people in defense, you could put 3 people to attack the alien encampment, but you can only attack someone's base with one crew at each base facing. So let's say I was attacking Tango here. I could only deploy one crew at each base facing. And this is shown on your crew card here. You can place one meeple at each base facing, north, south, east or west. So obviously we're playing solo, so I don't need to use that side because I can place my crew directly onto the map. I would love to try and secure this resource because it's the highest value resource on the board with 3 points, worth 3 points, but the alien raiders are there, so I can't actually deploy anybody here, so that's a shame. So I'm going to deploy 2 guys to M5 here. I'm going to deploy a couple guys to U8, a couple of guys to H4, 1 guy to Q6, and I'm going to put 1 guy raiding the alien encampment. Now, when you are mining at a location, each crew member can only take away 1 resource. So if it was the end of the round and I had 2 guys here, I wouldn't be able to take all those resources. Each crew member could only take 1 resource. So now it's the planning phase for Tango and for Alpha. So we're going to draw an AI card for each of them and deploy their AI crew. So we take an AI card, and here the AI card shows us where to deploy and how many at each coloured zone. If they can't complete the action on the top, they take the action below. AI are only distributed to zones with a matching amount of resources at each zone. So in this example, it's telling us to deploy 1 AI in the orange zone, here B1. Now there's no resource. So what do? Well, we move them to complete the action below, which is defend the base. So even though it's the first round and there's no actual resources to defend, that's what we do. So we place the AI in his base in defense. Now we take the next action, which is place 1 crew in a pink zone. So AI are always placed, always distributed, moving clockwise around the map from their base. So we start from their base and we move clockwise, and the first zone we get to, the first pink zone, is R7. Now there's no resource there for me to match with a meeple. So I'm not going to place a crew member there. I'm going to move around, and I would place one here because there's 1 resource cube. But because the aliens are there, I can't deploy him in that zone with the alien raiders. So what's he going to do? He's going to take the action below. Now the action below is attack. Now how the AI would attack is they will attack the highest value base facing on the board. So for example, if in my base I had this pink resource, then they would be attacking this one because no other bases on the map have any resources. This is the highest value. He would attack the west side of my base. Now, as this is the first round, again, there's no resources on the board for anybody to attack. So what happens if he can't complete the action below? Either you then move him down to the next section. And it says, so in the next blue section, it's got a 1 guy to be deployed in the blue zones. But now I've actually got 2 guys because I've got a 1 moving over into the next section. So I would, starting from his base, I would move around the map. There's no meeples to place here. Move around. There's 1 guy to place here to match the amount of resources that are at that location. Then I would move around again, but there isn't any more resources to match. So again, I move him down to defend. So he goes in defense. As I say, even though at the moment in the first round, there's no actual resources for him to defend. But then the next one is we're deploying 5 guys in the green zone. So we've got 5 crew, and starting from his base, we're going to deploy 1 here, then moving clockwise around, we're going to place another 1 there, then moving clockwise around, we'll place another 1 there, and then we're not going to place another 1 there because there's only 1 resource there. So we move clockwise around, there's 2 resources there, so we can place another crew there. We move around, we can place another crew there because there's still enough resources. So there you go. Whoops, place that in the wrong place. So you can see that's how you distribute your AI crew. Now we're going to draw a card for Alpha. So he's got, it says to deploy 2 at B1. There isn't any. So these 2 go in defense in his base. It says to deploy 2 in the pink zones. Again, moving around. I can't place any here, can't place any here. So he does the action below, which is attack. So because he can't do the attack action, because there's no base to attack, we move him to the next zone. So he's going to be, there's the 3 to be placed from in this blue section, plus the 2 from there. So this is in the blue zone. So again, moving from his base, there's none there, there's only 1 here, so we place 1 there. And then there's no more to be placed. So these guys would attack again, they would attack a base facing. There is no base facing to attack, so they all move down to the next section. So now we're deploying these 5 crew to these green zones. So now, so we move around clockwise from his base. So this 1 can go here, 1 can go here, 1 can go here, starting back clockwise again, another 1 can go here, and another 1 can go here. There we go. That is both AI players distributed. And now we're moving on to the action card phase. Now, if you had any action cards, we could play them now. We don't have any just yet, so we'll look at those later. Now it is the combat phase. So it's fights and raids. The first player always picks the first combat. In solo, you're always the first player. So I am going to choose one of these combats to resolve. Now, I get to choose and resolve 1 combat, any 1 combat, and then the next player chooses and resolves any 1 combat, and then the next player chooses to resolve any 1 combat, and it goes around the board like that. I am going to resolve attacking the alien encampment. And what happens when you attack the alien encampment is you roll 1 dice, and you gain resource cards shown on the alien encampment. So I'll roll 1 dice. I rolled a 1. If I roll a 1 to 4, I gain 1 action card. So I'll draw 1 action card. And what did I get? I got secure. I'll keep that there, face up. Obviously, you would normally hide these not show your opponents, but in single player you don't need to. So that's that action complete. Now it's Tango's turn, and the AI will complete their attacking actions moving clockwise, starting from their base, moving clockwise around the map. So here, Tango, he'll complete this attack first, starting from his base, moving clockwise. Now you can use this information to your advantage, and you'll need to when you play against even more AI opponents, because it gets very hard. So he's going to attack. And now here, he could attack Alpha or he could attack Echo, but as we said at the start, the AI always will attempt to attack the first player that turn. And in single player, you're always the first player. So it's going to be Tango versus me, Echo. So they win, and when you win a combat, the points difference shows you your position on the wound track. So I got beaten by 3 points. So that puts me in major wound. And when you're major wounded, it shows you that you gain an action card. So I just took a major wound, but I gained an action card. Alien Aid, roll +1 dice, and that can be used in the combat phase. In the corner of the cards, it shows you what round the cards can be used in. That can be used in the action card phase, that can be used in the combat phase. So that wasn't great for me. One of my guys is now on the major wound, so that means I'm not going to get him back for a few turns now. So you never actually lose crew in the game, or you're never wiped out of the game, you're just delayed. So that was Tango's go. Now it's Alpha's go. So moving clockwise from his base, he's going to resolve the combat here. He's going to resolve this combat, and he is going to attack me because there's all three of us there. The AI is going to attack me. So we'll say he's the pink and I'm the orange dice. He's the pink. So we pair off, highest to highest. So he beats me by 4. So I go to the major wound again. This is not looking good for me, but I draw another action card. What do I get? Toxin, very useful. And I beat him by 1 point. So one of his guys goes to the moderate wound. Now, AI crew are never placed, it says here no AI. AI are never placed in the major wound because they don't have or collect, they don't have or use action cards. That's their disadvantage, so their advantage is that they never get put in the major wound. So no matter how much you beat them by, they'd only ever go to moderate wound or minor wound. So that's that combat resolved. So that was Alpha's go. So now it's my go. I'm actually going to resolve this combat here. Because I know in Tango's go, they're going to attack me here, and then next time they're going to attack me here. And if I can defeat Alpha here, then that means there'll be enough resources for us to take one each, so I won't get attacked by 2 people and wiped out. So here, I think it's better for me if I try and, the odds of me are better here to try and take out Alpha. So Alpha can be the pink dice. So hurrah, I lost. Alpha's the pink dice, that's what I said. So Alpha's the pink dice, so I lose by 2 points, so I go into the moderate wound. It's not looking very good for me at the moment, is it? All my guys are dead. I am going to, it's Tango's go. Tango is going to resolve this combat here. So Tango's resolving this combat. So he loses and goes into the, and so there, Alpha's there, Alpha's doing all right. Now, so Alpha's turn, so they will resolve this combat here. So Alpha is definitely going to attack me. So I'll be the orange dice. This is Alpha. Okay, so highest to highest, I win by 1. Now it's my go after Alpha. I'm going to resolve this combat here. I will attack. I'm going to attack Tango. I win. Secured that one there, that's nice. It's Tango's go. Tango is going to resolve combats moving clockwise. He's going to go here. He's going to resolve his combat against me. Highest to highest. It's not working good for me again. Now I have got some cards. I have got an alien aid card, which I could use in this combat phase for a +1 to my dice roll, but obviously in this situation it doesn't help. So I lose by 3 going into major wound. This is horrendous for me. I gain an alien magic card, which is an automatic win or counter an automatic win. So I can win one of the pairings if I want, but I can only use it in the following round. I can't use it on this combat. And the other combat I win by 1 point. So he goes to moderate wound. That's not too bad. Now I'm going to resolve Alphas, so moving clockwise out, there's no combat here, there's no combat here, there's a combat here. So Alpha is going to attack me. It's not looking good for me the first turn. It is looking good for me this first turn. Highest to highest, I win that one. So we send him off. Oof, it's close there, it's close there. That was Alpha's turn, so now it's my turn. The only combat to resolve is this one, and it's who I'm going to attack. Well, they've got these resources. Alpha's doing the best because he's going to have 2 resources, so I'm going to attack Alpha here. So Alpha can be the pink dice. Come on. Alpha's the pink dice. I win by 1. He goes to there. And that's the end of the combat phase. No combat here, no combat here. Right, so now it is the deposit phase. The resources are stored in the base and the crew are returned to the player's hand. So I will gain my crew back here. This crew back will come back to me here. I gain this 1 resource here. Tango gains this resource, Alpha gains this resource. Alpha takes 1 there, and Tango takes 2. So the first player will always distribute the resources in the AI's camps. Now you can distribute them however you like. You can use that to your advantage as well. So let's play some. I always just kind of distribute them evenly around their base, and they have to get their crew back, get the defender's crew back. So as you can see, for the next round, I'm going to deploy put my resources in my camp. Now, where you put your resources in your base is important, because the alien raiders, if they end their movement in a zone with a player camp, they will remove 1 resource from around the outer edge of your base, and they will remove the highest value one. So in this situation, if the alien raiders ended their movement in this zone, they would have to take this. They wouldn't be able to take this. They would take this because it's on the outside. If this was on the outside, then they would take that. That's why your inner slots on each base facing are more valuable. Also, when a player is attacking your base, they can only steal resources. They have to take resources first from the outside before they can take the resources on the inside. So generally you want to keep your lower value on the outside to defend your high value resources. So we've placed our resources back in our base, deposited them. Now it's the restore phase, and the restore phase works by everybody on the wound tracker moves up 1 space. There we go. Any that move into the mobilized zone are then returned to the respective player's crew. So this round nobody's got any crew back. Yeah, which is bad for me, because now I'm starting this next round with only 4 crew. We've got Tango here, that's got 5. And we've got Alpha with 4 as well. Okay, so it is the distribute phase where I pick a new resource card, discard that one, turn over a new resource card. Tells me the aliens are going to move 4 spaces. So they're going to move 4 and they're going to strip resources that are left over in any mines that they pass through. So he's going to strip that resource out. Move 1, 2, 3, 4. He didn't strip any other resources out because there was none to take. He didn't take any from any bases because he only takes resources when he ends his turn in a zone with a player camp. So he moves to there, he stripped out that 1 resource. Now I distribute the resources as shown on the card. So we have 1 resource there, and we have 2 in U8, 2 in Q6, 1 in H4, now I have 1 in F2, oops, sorry, 1 in F2, 1 in N5, 1 in R7. Oh, again, can't get it. Okay, that's the distribute phase. Now it's the planning phase where you plan your movement. So in solo, I'm just going to place my guys straight onto the map. Obviously, you have to do this before you reveal the AI card. I'm going to definitely try and secure this resource because it's worth the most points. So I'm going to put 2 guys there. I am going to try... I'm going to put 3 here, and I'm going to go for 1 at N5. So I've distributed my crew. I've only got 4 crew to distribute, so I haven't put anybody in defending my base, which could be very bad for me. Now we're going to distribute Tango, so we're going to do their planning phase. So we flip over the top AI card and distribute their crew. So it says they have 1 here. They're deploying 3 in the pink zones. So we can't deploy any there, and we can't deploy any there. So they move to attack because the action underneath shows them attacking. So they're going to attack the highest value base facing on the map. So only one crew can attack each facing. So the AI will attack here because this is the highest value base facing on the board. Obviously they're not going to attack themselves. So this is the highest value resource. So they're going to attack this location, north. Now they're going to attack me again because all three of them can't be placed on the map. So all three of them are going to attack bases if they can. And they can because there is resources on the board to attack. So because you can only place one crew at each base facing, I can't place another crew there because they've already got one crew there. So they have to attack the next highest value, which is either Echo, me again, on my west side, or the south side or east side of Alpha. Now, as I'm the first player, they're always going to attempt to attack me first. So that's the next highest value. Now they can't attack me anymore because they're attacking both of the locations that they're allowed to attack. So they're now going to attack Alpha. And so now they're going to attack the east base of Alpha because that's the next highest value. Even though they're equal values, I normally it's up to the player to decide whichever one they want to attack. They're obviously not going to attack their own base. So now we're going to deploy 2 in the blue zones. Well, they've only got 1 crew member left. So 2 in the blue, moving from here. So I move around clockwise. There is a resource there to mine, so they will be placed there. Now there's no more crew to place. So that is Tango. Now we reveal a card for Alpha. So Alpha is deploying 2. Alpha is deploying 2 in the orange zone. So there's only 1 resource there, so he'll only deploy 1. And the next guy will take the action underneath, which is attack the highest value base facing, which is my base. So he can join him there in attack. So it's not, so remember that I can only place 1 there, so another guy, I couldn't have deployed 2 attacking that location, I can only deploy 1. And we'll cover what happens here in a moment. The next, he's only got 2 crew left, so we move to the pink zone. We can't place any in the pink zones because of the alien raiders there's no resources there to match. So we move them to attack the highest value base facing. That's what their action is below. So we look at the map and we say, well, what's the next highest value base facing? Well, Tango has got equal points. These are all worth 1 point. That's worth 1 point. So he's going to attack me first, so he's going to attack me there. And then he'll move around and he'll attack Tango at any of these base facings. I'll place them at north. When I normally place them at a base, I normally place them north first, then east, then south. Then west last. And that's all the crew he's got left. So that's the AI turn. So now we move on to the action card phase where I can now play some action cards. Now, I have got an action card here, secure. Move an attacking unit 1 base facing direction. So I could move one of these guys to here or here, or any one of these guys, to a different base facing where there's no resources to attack, which could be useful, but crews attacking my base have to fight each other before they can claim any resources in the base. So these guys are going to have to fight each other first. So me just removing one of them just means that they don't have to fight each other. So there isn't actually really any point me doing that at the moment. I have got another card here. Toxin, move a crew member to moderate wound. So I could just remove one of these guys off the board now. So I could move one of these guys and wound one of them, send them to the thing, and that means I wouldn't lose one of these resources, which could be a good tactic. So I'm going to play my secure card to move an attacking unit 1 base facing direction. So that gets used, and I'm going to move Alpha's guy to here, so there's no resource for him to take on that base facing. And then I'm going to play my Toxin card, move a crew member to moderate wound, and I'm going to, Tango, going to moderately wound your guy and send him to the wound tracker. So now I've just saved that resource basically, because he can't steal anything. Those guys will have to fight over that one resource, so that's fine. So that's the action card phase. I'm not going to play any more action cards. It's now the combat phase. So fights and raids. So I pick the first combat to resolve. Now there isn't any combat anywhere else apart from here. So I am going to fight. I'm going to fight Tango. So 3 dice against his 1. So highest to highest. I win by 3, but that sends Tango to there. Then it's the next combat. So moving clock. So it's Tango's go. The next he resolves a combat. The next combat, no combat here. So this is a combat for Tango. He must fight against Alpha. He wins by 2. And then it's Alpha's combat. Alpha is going to fight me here, moving from his base. He's going to fight here. So it's 3 on 1. Good for me. So, highest to highest, I beat him by 3. And that is all the combats this round. So now it's the deposit phase. So, we have Tango is going to take this resource here. I am going to take this resource here. I am also going to take this resource here. Now, when it comes to attacking another opponent's base, when you come to claim the resources, you roll a d6 and you can claim resources up to the value rolled. But no matter the roll, you can always take at least 1 resource. So even if you roll a 1 and there's a resource value of 2, say, you can still take the 2. You can always take 1 cube, but you must take resources from the outer edge first. So in this example, there's no need to roll, because no matter the roll, I can always take 1 resource, and there's only 1 resource to take. Okay, so we could roll at this location, and if there was, for example, this resources at this location, he would be able to take all 3. But as there's only 1, he just takes that 1 resource. So Tango takes this resource. Alpha here, unfortunately, doesn't take any because there's no resources to steal at that location. Tango steals this resource, and Alpha steals this resource up here. So we'll place this in Alpha's base, place these in Tango's base, and I'll place these in my base. Okay, so now it's the restore phase, so everybody moves up 1 space on the track. These guys get returned to their respective crews. Orange gets these guys back, Alpha gets these guys back. And we're ready to do the next phase. So we've got the distribute phase. So I am going to flip over the next card. So I'm going to move the alien raiders, and they're going to move 1. So they move 1 zone, and then we strip out this resource. We're going to then distribute the resources. So we place 1 at U8, another one there. Place 2 at H4. We'll place 1 at F2. We'll place 1 at M5. Place 1 at R7. Okay, we've distributed the resources. Now it's the planning phase. So I am definitely going to try and secure this resource with a couple of guys. I'm going to place a couple of guys in defense because I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to attack my base. And I'll try and go for M5. Okay, so that's my movement. I'm going to distribute the AI now. And we are going to distribute 1 in orange. There isn't anybody to distribute at orange. So we are going to do the action below, which is attack. So moving clockwise, they can't go to there. So they're going to attack the highest value base facing, which this is the highest value on the map. That's worth 4. That is worth 3. So this is worth 4. So they're going to attack me here. And then we move to the purple zone. He is going to distribute 2 guys in the purple zone. So moving from Tango, he's going to distribute 1 there, going around the map. There isn't 1 there, so he's going to do the action below, which is attack the next highest value base facing. So obviously he's not going to attack himself, so it's going to be one of mine. So we'll put him in the north zone. Then he's got 3 guys going into the blue zones. So moving around the map, he's going to have one up here, and he's going to have one here. And then we can't place another one in these zones because there's one apiece at the moment. So he's going to do the action below, which is attack the highest value base facing. And what? Oh, look, it's me again. So Tango is full attacking my base. So we've done, Tango's got no more guys to distribute. So now we draw the next card for Alpha. Alpha is going to distribute 1 at orange. There isn't one at orange, so he's going to do the action below, which is Alpha's going to defend his base. The next one is going to have 1 in the purple zone, so moving around, there's not one to deploy here, there's 1 to deploy there. The next one is going to deploy 4, potentially 4 in the blue zones, so moving from his base, he's going to place 1 here. Moving around, he's going to place 1 here. Now, there's no more resources to match with crew at those locations, so he's going to do the action below, which is, guess what? Attack. So he's going to attack me here, and then he's going to attack me again here. So there we go. It's a good job I put some guys in defense, eh? So luckily, because I'm defending, these guys, I'm defending, I've got 2 in defense. These guys are going to have to fight each other first before they can attack me. So I have got an advantage there still, because each time they attack me, I'm only going to be attacked by 1 crew member. So having 2 now is a good starting point. So the crew have been deployed onto the planet map. The action card phase. I've only got 2 action cards that can be played in the combat phase, so I won't be using any action cards in this phase. So now it's the combat phase. So we do the fights and raids, and as the first player, I'm going to do the first combat. Now you can't initiate combat when you're defending. You have to be attacked. So there's only this combat here to resolve, and this one for me. So I'm going to resolve this one here because I've got a bit of an advantage by having 2. So I'm going to attack orange because they seem to be doing the best out of those 2. So I'm going to attack orange. So it's 2 versus 1. Highest to highest, I win by 3. So orange goes to the moderate wound. So that's good for me. So now it's Tango's go. So Tango is going to resolve combats. He's going to resolve this combat first. So Tango is going to fight. Ooh, they both wound each other. And they go into the minor wound. Now it's Alpha's go, moving clockwise. This is the next combat. So Alpha is going to fight here. So they'll do the north fight first. So the north fight first. So Tango wins by 3, so they go to moderate wound. So that's that combat done. So now it's my go. This is the only combat here for me to resolve. No, I've got this combat here I could resolve as well. Let's resolve this one first, yes. So I'll be pink dice. So I win highest to highest. I win by enough. So it's Tango's go. So moving around clockwise around the map, we can see that Tango is going to resolve a combat here, and Tango is going to attack me. So Tango is going to attack me from the north. Even though Tango has to fight himself, has to fight Alpha here, first he will always attempt to attack me. So he can, in this situation, attack me. So it's going to be Tango 1 dice versus my 2 defenders. So I win, so Tango gets sent to the wound track. It's now Alpha's go. So Alpha resolving combat, moving around the map. Alpha's going to resolve this combat here. Now Alpha would attack me, but it can't because it's got to attack Tango first. So we resolve that combat. So Tango wins and sends Alpha to the wound track. Now it's my go. We're going to resolve the combat here. So I am going to attack Tango here. Come on. Oh, I am going to play my alien magic card, which is automatic win. So I automatically win that combat. So when I play that automatic win card, Alpha goes to the minor wound. And that's my go, so now it's Tango's go. So the only combat for Tango to resolve is here. So moving clockwise around the base, I'm going to attack from the south first. So again, I've got 2 defenders against his 1. I win, thank God. Oh, sorry, that's in the wrong zone. He should go in the 1 to 2 wound. Then it's Alpha's go. The only combat is here. So Alpha can be the pink dice. They win by 1. Ooh. No, that's fine. I could play my card for +1 to my dice to make it a draw, but that wouldn't help me. It would just stop him taking that resource. No, that's fine. So I'll lose by 1. So I'll go to there. So that was Alpha's go. So now it's my go. I can't attack with anybody because I can't initiate attacks. So now it's Tango's go, and the only combat here to resolve is this one. So I win again, thank God. And I've managed to defend my base with 2 guys. Hoorah. Right, now it's the deposit phase. So I don't gain anything here, I just defended my base. I gained 1 resource here. Alpha gained a resource here. Alpha gains this guy back. And that's all the resources that were gained. I gained 1 pink. Alpha gained a blue. And we do the restore phase. So all these guys go into mobilize. All these guys go into minor wound. We return everybody to their crew sheet. Ready, who's ready for the next round? And there we go, we've played a few rounds of Amass. I hope that's given you a better idea of how to play the game, and we'll see you again with more video content. Thank you.